Hi. Hi, this is a test to see what's happening. Hi. 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 Test to see if okay. I'm just gonna go and switch over to broadcast. Hi. Hey, this is Zoe. Just seeing what's going on. Hi, this is Zoe. Hi, this is Zoe. Just check and see what's going on. Hi. Hi. No, it's not okay. Hi. Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Hi. Hopefully you can just think. Hi, let's just try again. Can you hear me? Okay, so this is Zoe from the Whisper Tree, and I'd just like to welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. We seem to be having a little bit of lagging at the moment. Okay, hi, let's just test this down there. Let's see what that just sounds like. I've got a lot. Yeah, I've got a lot of lagging. It's really like lagging, and its image isn't very clear. It's much better on YouTube. So I don't know whether it's just a question of waiting until everyone joins in and then just. So it's so much clearer on YouTube. I mean, by what you mean, my speaker? Well, that yeah, yeah, yeah. But what? Why will that stop the echo for them if I've got headphones on? Yeah. Mm. So I just need a set of headphones. Oh, no, I won't be having one. They've just got there's a chat. Yeah. No, 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 they're not. No. But it's just the lagging. There's about a kind of 10-second delay or something. Oh, really? Oh, okay. It's quite quiet, but I mean, I can hear it. And the image isn't that clear. It's really clear on YouTube, but it's a bit. I thought they'd see the one on my lead page, not the YouTube one. It's all right. It's just a bit fuzzy, that's all. But when I go on YouTube, I can't do anything about that, can I? Yeah, it's kind of looking clear actually now. Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm, yeah. Mm. Well, no, yeah. No, there won't be. It will just be a chat, so I'm going to make sure I can see the chat. So if anyone does, yeah, I can see the box just underneath. So, oh right, okay. weirdly sharper now when I'm looking at it. It was really blurry before, but it's actually. But what? Yeah. Oh, okay. No, that's kind of reassured me that because it's looking a bit better. It's just compared to the YouTube, it's so clear and sharp, but you know. Oh well. Hello. Oh, you got it. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Well, Andy's gone and bought a wireless thing, another backup or something to in here because the connection's not great, and we haven't got it. It's not good in our house either. So you know, it's there is connection, so hopefully it won't, it won't cut out. That's the other thing. All right. How it is, yeah. But doesn't that put you off if you're talking and then you can hear that you talking what you spoke, you know, when you're doing it? Because I'm going to be hearing myself, aren't I, speaking? Oh, you turn the sound off. Ah, that's a good idea. How do I do? Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Mhm. Yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah. Send a few. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, if I just send them quickly, yeah, I'll give them a quick ring now. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just to log in and tell me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now I've got the sound switched off on, it's still on my computer. It's just, oh no, I can hear it. I shouldn't be able to hear it. Right, okay. And now I can't. That's really weird. It's like when I hover over, I can hear it. Maybe it's just because I'm hovering over it now. I can't hear it. Yeah. I just didn't want to do a whole hour and not being able to hear me and having to deal with that, the technical side as well as that's really tough, isn't it? Mm. That, I've not even thought about that. I won't. I probably won't do record this one. I think I haven't offered a replay because I know you can offer a replay. So I'm just gonna. It's because I've got 10 minutes now, so I've got to be on. So I'm not going to worry about that. I can do that the next time. It's going through YouTube, yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it will do. Yeah, I remember reading something about that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's great. Oh, I can hear it again. That's really weird. Yeah, it keeps coming on. I know what I would do is I just hover on and then off again. It didn't stop it. So yeah. All right then. Okay, that's great. Yeah, thanks for that. All right then. I'll see you later. Okay. Bye. Oh, hiya. Having a few technical difficulties, but I think I've got it. So it's lagging a lot, but it's okay. I've spoken to Claire about it. She said that's normal. It just does, and the screen, the image seems to be getting clearer. So, but I'm connected at least. What I did want, if you don't mind, could you connect on and just tell me if you can hear me and see me? You know, when I start, and then just put a little message in the thing saying yeah, it's working or something. Is that all right? Yeah. So it's the Whisper Tree, all in one word. Dot L pages. Yeah, all one word as in lead pages, so it's just L pages, all one word. Dot co forward slash broadcast hyphen room and then forward slash. And that's it. Yeah, just if you could just type in there, that would be great. Thank you. But I'm not starting too late, so I might not reply, and I might not be there. I'm just going to nip to the loo. So. But yeah, if you could do that at 8, that would be really cool. So at least I know there's one person. All right, thank you. Yeah. Oh, I have. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm going to make a little pile of the. I'll put them by the door. The you just want the leads, the chargers, and the kindling. I've got the bucket, so I can bring it all over. All right then. See you. Bye. I'll just do a quick sound test. Can you hear me? Can you just tell me if you can hear me? Great, okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome. And thank you so much for taking the time to connect in with me. This is Zoe from the Whisper Tree. So I'm just hoping you can all hear me okay. Had a few technical difficulties, bit of lagging, problems with the sound. So I'm just hoping that you can all hear me and see me okay. My husband's just been putting in a few messages there. As you can probably see, there's a little chat box underneath. So if I'd really appreciate it if anyone is connecting in and that you can hear me and see me, if you could just kind of give me a little nod or just type something into the chat box just so I know that there are other people that can actually hear me okay and see me okay. But that's what that little chat box is for. And if you have any questions, then you can just type those questions in there, just send them off, and as soon as I see them, I'll try and answer you. So I'm just hoping that if you've just joined us, if you can just type in something in the little chat box underneath where it says chat tango, if you could just type in and let me, just let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. Because as I said, we were having a few technical difficulties earlier on. So as soon as you connect in, just let me know that you're there, and then we can start. So while we're waiting, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. Um, so I'm a primary school teacher, or I was a primary school teacher. I started off in secondary, went into primary, and I always had a big interest in yoga, meditation, visualization, lots of things, alongside my teaching, and just absolutely love working with children. A few years ago, my eldest son had, quite bad anxiety. He didn't want to go to school. He kept complaining of tummy aches, headaches, things like that. And I just assumed there was something physically wrong with him. So he was having days off school. And, it took, oh, hiya, thank you. I appreciate that message. Thanks. So that I know that people can see but not hear anything. Ooh, okay. Hopefully that will resolve itself. I'll try and have a look as I'm still. Hang on a minute. Let's just see if it's this. Does that help? Can you just let me know if that helps? I've just put the sound on the actual broadcast room. So if you could just tell me if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. So I'll just wait a second before I continue, because obviously there's no point if no one can hear what I'm saying. I don't want to continue. There is a bit of lagging, that is normal. So hopefully, if you can just let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, and if anyone else has just joined, if you can hear me, can you just let me know, so that because we've been having a few technical difficulties with the sound and the lagging. I can hear you, brilliant. Okay, I'll just have to ignore the sound of my own voice. There's a bit of lagging at the minute. For those of you that have just joined, the little chat box underneath me is where you can put questions in for me. So when I see them, I'll try and answer them to the best, best as soon as I can, as soon as we go along, without kind of disrupting the flow of the evening. So it's a bit distracting for me because I can hear the sound of my own voice, but I will try and work through that. Go back to beginning, because obviously people are starting to connect in. So first of all, welcome. I really, really appreciate the fact that you can join me and you've made the effort to join me, and I'm sure that you're going to get a lot out of this 1.5 hours together. My name's Zoe, and I'm founder of the Whisper Tree. I'm going to just talk a little bit about myself. I do apologise for those that have already heard all of this, but maybe some people are just connecting in now. So I've been a teacher for quite a few years. I was secondary trained and then went into primary. I've always had a big, big interest and been very passionate about yoga, meditation, visualization, all those sorts of things. And what really kick-started all of this for me was my eldest son, a few years ago, was starting to complain of headaches, tummy aches, used to going to school as well. And, he had quite a lot of time off. And it took a while for me to figure out that actually it was anxiety. It wasn't the fact that he was physically ill. He was very anxious about his PE lessons, it turned out, at school. And because he was refusing to go into school, and I was starting to have this interest in meditation on a personal level and yoga, I started to teach yoga in the school where I was working. I thought, well, actually, I could teach some of these techniques to him. I've got to find a way to make him understand what they're about. Bring it down to his language. So I started to teach him some of the techniques that I'm going to be teaching you tonight, and I got him meditating as well regularly. And within about 3 months, 4 months, he'd really turned the situation around. Was going into school and is a few years on, going into school quite happily. He still has the odd wobble, obviously, but things are so much better. And I decided to take those techniques into the school where I was working. The head, bless them, was really happy for me to do that. And I got together a little group of children that were struggling with, anger issues, anxiety, sleeplessness, hyperactivity. We had another one girl, and it was a very small primary school where I was working. She had high anxiety, so it was kind of bordering on school refusal. And I work with this group of children, developing the techniques that I use with my son, trying out new stuff on them, new resources. And I remember with this girl in particular that within 6 months she totally turned the situation around, which was really lovely to see. And is now going, I still hear from her now, she's in a secondary school, going in, no problems. But all credit to her, she was amazing. She took on all of the techniques, took everything on board and was trying them, and and really turned it around. So that's always lovely to see. But this is really what with my son and with the work that I did in the school that I worked at the time, really kick-started the Whisper Tree. And I've since left the school and I work with families, with children that are struggling in different ways. I also have all sorts of workshops for adults to support them. And I'm a trained transparent healer, so I run energy, one-to-one on clients. And I've kind of combined all of that into and I bring it all into the energy work, in particular into my workshops and the things that I do with families. So tonight, this masterclass is all about giving you a chance to learn some of my favourite and what I think are the most powerful techniques that I've developed with these children. It's not obviously not everything that I use, but some of my key ones. And these techniques include aspects of mindfulness, meditation, and breathing as well. Now, you don't need, a lot of people worry about this, you do not need prior knowledge to be able to use these techniques. I'm going to show you them to you. You'll take on board what you want to take on board. It might be an idea that you write down these techniques, just if you've got a pad and paper, a pen and paper handy, just write some of these things down so that you can then go and teach them to your child. The idea that for me, what's most important is that we have the parents on board, because I know as a teacher, and you'll probably know as a parent, that what you teach your child one day, they are just going to forget the next day, the next week, or whatever. It's about that ongoing support. And I think to have the parents on board is key. But not only have them on board, you using these techniques on yourself, because a lot of them you can use on yourself, and then you can see how they can work. You'll have the confidence and the confidence in the techniques to then go on and teach your child. When you see your child struggling, you can remind them to use such and such technique. If your child sees that you're meditating, for example, regularly, they're going to be so much more likely meditate, or use crystals or whatever it is, whichever technique you can pick on board. I think if you're using them and your child sees you using them and you're modeling that to your child, then, there'll be a huge, increase of, what am I trying to say? That there'll be a lot more likelihood, a bit bigger likelihood, that's the word, that your child will start taking these techniques on board. And the other thing is that we don't want just a quick fix. We don't want this to just be a little workshop where you go away, try the techniques, and then forget about them. We want to create that sustainable change, and that is key by having the parents on board. This is why I found that the changes are, a lot more sustainable. This is what we want. We don't want just the quick fixes. Now, please, if you have any questions, you can see the little yellow chat box underneath the chat hangout where it says any questions for Zoe in chat. Just type them in, and I will try and answer them in the moment or at the end if I don't quite see them. But just please, post in any questions, because it's always nice to know that people are still connected to me. Because I never know, because as I said before we started, we had a few technical difficulties. So I just want to make sure people are still connected in. Okay. So I'm just looking at what we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you the structure. I'm going to go through the structure of this evening now, so you know exactly what to expect. What's coming up, and then we'll just get stuck in. So first of all, I'm going to give you an introduction to energy. Now, I feel that this is important so that you get a deeper understanding of why these techniques work the way they do. So just bear with me. I'm not going to go too deep, but I do feel you need a bit of an understanding. You may already have that understanding, I don't know. But I'm going to talk a little bit about energy. And then I'm going to be talking about meditation and the benefits of meditation. I'm going to be giving you tips on how to get children interested in meditation. And also, if you are drawn to meditating and want to try it, I'm going to give you some of my best tips to kind of sustain that practice and keep it going for yourself. I'm going to be showing you a few of my favorite breathing techniques, because the power of it, it's something that we often forget about, but I use it a lot with my children and my groups of children. I find it's very effective. So it'll be breathing, meditation, breathing. Then I'm going to be talking a little bit about visualization, which is a kind of, it overlaps with meditation. You a few visualization techniques that you can use with your child. If we've got time, I'll be talking to you about affirmations, so how to harness the power of our thoughts and our feelings and using affirmations in a different way. If we've got time to go through that, because a huge part of the way that I work with children and myself as well. I've got a whole load of resources like books and different tools and resources that I've tried and tested on many children over, and including my own too, over the years. So I'll be showing you a few of those as well. And yeah, and that's it. So that's going to be the structure for this evening. If you have any questions, I keep saying, repeating myself, but please don't forget to pop them in the chat box underneath. You just type them in and send them off. Hit send, and hopefully I'll be able to see them. And as I said, it's just nice to know that I have still got people that are connecting in, because I know we can lose connectivity sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to be talking to you. I'm going to start with energy, and I'm going to give you an introduction to energy. So don't worry, it's going to get a little bit deep, but it's not going to be too deep that it will be way over your head. I feel it's important for you to understand the way energy works, the way our universe works, so that you understand why these techniques are as effective as they are, and why they work in the way that they do. The first thing you need to understand is that everything on our living planet, ourselves including, and every living creature on our planet is made of energy. Now, this has been proven by science, and we have, and the scientists we have what they call the Earth force field. They're very aware of this force field, and they monitor it. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the energy that surrounds our planet. Oh, hiya, thank you. Oh, hiya, Caroline. Thanks for saying that you're still here. That's great. So basically, our planet is surrounded by energy. We are connected to our planet. We're connected to each other by this energy, by this force field. Now, not only do we have an energy and in our planet, within interweaving into our planet is this energy which connects each and every one of us, but also our thoughts and our feelings have an energy. Now, those of you that came last week to the workshop and have been to other workshops, they know that I talk a lot about energy. But I also mentioned as well, and I've mentioned, I know we were talking about this last week, that the average person has between 50,000 and 70,000 thoughts per day, which is huge, and I always think, what on earth are we thinking about? Now, if we think that these thoughts have an energy, and we're having a lot of them, we've got to think, well, how many of those thoughts are negative? How many of them are negative? Connection issue there. There we go. Are negative. That's the thing. And and they scientists know. I mean, there's been a lot of testing around this. That the thoughts that we have the day before and the day before that, and the day before that, are the same. So the majority of the thoughts are the same as the thoughts that we've had the day before, etc., and so on. Knowing that these thoughts have an energy, and they're impacting on other people, because it is an energetic exchange, and as are their thoughts impacting on us, and the fact that our thoughts are very similar to the day before, the day before that, and so on, then you think about what we're creating around us. I think this is a very big thought, quite a scary thought, but quite an empowering thought as well, because what we've got to think is, if we manage to harness this thought and these thoughts, and to shift our focus from a more negative focus to a more positive one, have a positive effect on our environment, and on the people within our environment, then that is, that's really interesting, I think, a very empowering thought. So what I want you to understand is that we have a lot of thoughts and we have a lot of feelings. Our thoughts are very powerful because they have this energy. This has been proven by science. And not only have our thoughts got a lot of energy within them that impacts on others, but so have our feelings. And our feelings are even more powerful than our thoughts. So all of these things that I'm going to show you, all of these techniques, I want you to bear in mind what I've just told you about and explained to you about energy. Bear that in mind, and you'll start to see how all of these techniques that I'm going to show you are very powerful, very powerful. Okay. So we're going to go on to meditation. Now, if you have any questions, again, please don't forget that you can post them in the chat, in the little yellow box or orange box underneath me, where it says any questions for Zoe in chat. Just post them in, and I can just, refer to them, answer them as we go along. And again, it just helps me to know that we're connected. And so thanks for that, Caroline. So I'm going to talk to you about meditation now. Now, meditation again is something that we hear a lot of. Again, scientists, because I like to sort of say this so that people know that this has been proven, that they have proven benefits scientifically, that meditation does work for us. And there are many, many benefits to meditation. For example, it lowers blood pressure, it helps with sleeplessness, it helps to focus, and it helps to calm the mind. There's lots of things, lots of health benefits as well. Now, as I always say to my clients that come, that people that are thinking about meditation, if you are going to meditate, then you need to really be working up to once a day, if possible, if at all possible. If you're going to be meditating once a month, or just from time to time, I'd say it's probably not worth doing. It's one of those things that if you're doing it regularly, you will really reap the benefits and you will see those shifts and changes in yourself. But if you're only going to be doing it very infrequently, then there's probably really no point in doing it. So as I said, there are many, many benefits to it. And if you can do it regularly and work up to once a day, and obviously I don't expect someone to go from nothing to everything. I know personally, I had to really, really build up to it. But you will definitely see those benefits. So ways in which you can get your child benefit, meditating. As I said, I did this with my son Marley. I brought into some sort of meditations for him, and he did love them, and he did them for a while every night or most nights, and it did really help him. But there are ways in that you can get children interested. It doesn't have to be a formal sit down, listening to something, focusing on the breath. That will work for some people, but I think for children who are new to it, I think you need to go gently. I mean, I certainly know that in my case, that's what I found with big classes of children, and also my own too. A couple of things now. So the first thing is candle gazing. So if you just get a tea light, just something like that, or you can get a big church candle, whatever you've got, that, and you just light it. You just put it down on the floor, get everyone to sit around the candle, and if you can, do it as a family, because I think the more of you that do it and show an interest, the more likely your child or children are to come on board this practice. Just sit around the candle, just ask them to just be still, not talk for a moment, and just ask them to look into the flame. Just look in the flame, gaze into the flame for just a moment or two. And then ask them afterwards, what did they see in the flame? And they'll get used to this idea. And then maybe you could have another go and another go, however many times they want to do that. That's fine. But it's just about getting them into the habit of stilling themselves and just focusing in the present on something. Because I know as a teacher, and as a parent, I mean, especially in schools. Schools are so busy. Every moment is accounted for. They're in a class full of loads of other kids. It's busy, busy, busy. It's noisy. As a parent, we often we take our children to our school clubs, things like that. So these children in our, the modern day society, they're not getting much still time. They're not getting much inner time, which I think is really, really key. Especially when we're talking in terms of energy and stilling and focusing our thoughts. I think this is really, really key. So if you can find just a few moments a day of a kind of doing something that's kind of more meditative, this will help them to, just experience a bit of calmness. Experience a bit of focusing their mind on something in the present. Now, the other thing, unfortunately, I don't have one to show you, but the other way in, which is really, really good, I love these, you can do what's called a mind jar. Now, you may have come across some of these, but all you need is a clear, sort of a transparent jam jar or bottle. You fill it with water, you put in about 2 tablespoons of glitter and a little bit of vegetable oil so that it will stop the glitter from clumping. And you just basically shake the jar or the bottle, it's a bit like a snow globe. Just pop it in your child's room, or you just put it in front of your child and just say to them, I just want you to watch the glitter settle. Just take a moment to watch the glitter settle. And I can guarantee by the time that glitter is almost to the bottom, your child is going to be in a completely different space, still space, mind focused, a lot calmer. So it's a brilliant tool to use. It is a meditative tool and it's a great way into meditation. So I've shown you two things, candle gazing and the mind jar with the glitter is, very good way of, just getting into meditation. Now, there are other things that you can do that don't require your child sitting still. If you really do have a real fidget bot, then, you can do things like colouring in. Really meditative, it's very focusing, and a lot of children love colouring in. Just, I think, I really believe because it creates that stillness within them. Knitting, baking, jogging, running, walking, being out in nature, in the countryside. Things like bird watching, just watching birds feeding on a table, or going to a place where they have a special bird watching hut or whatever. Anything like that is really, really good, really, really meditative. And again, it allows for your child to go inwards a little bit and just have that stilling time, which I feel is really, really important, because I feel that they don't get a lot of that, and I think it's seriously lacking. So I think if you can just create those moments at least once a day, that would be really, really good for them. Don't underestimate the importance of that. Now, I would suggest that you do some of these activities, especially the candle gazing or the mind jar, just before going to bed. I think it's a really good habit if you are working your way up to some sort of meditation. Personally, I meditate last thing at night in bed before I go to sleep, or first thing in the morning. I often do it first thing in the morning, but if you have a child that's struggling to get to sleep, I would suggest that they do that in bed, or just, in their bedroom just before getting into bed, and set up a routine. You could start with the candle gazing or the mind jar, and then, just try a little meditation afterwards, because that will help focus them. Now, if you are going to try a meditation, I wouldn't do it any more than a few minutes, especially if you're starting out. Just 3 minutes is plenty for a child who's starting, because it is really difficult. Some of them, if you think about it, some of them are not even used to closing their eyes during the day. They close their eyes when they go to sleep, and that's it. So you've really got to be, go gently, because if you want those sustainable changes, if you want this to be a positive experience, then you need to go, you need to go gently. You need to build up. One thing that's really, really good for children is dolphin sounds, or just sounds of the ocean, sounds of the waves. They're really soothing for children because this has a high frequency, a high energy. The dolphin sounds have a high frequency, a high energy, which children can really sense and connect into, and they find it very soothing. You can get dolphin sounds. You can see these of dolphin and whale sounds or whale songs. I think you can find things like that on YouTube as well. Another really, really good resource. I am going to go through the resource at the end, but Relax Kids have lots of little mini meditations of just a few minutes, and it's just especially geared up for children. So I suggest that as well. A really good thing to get into. So I'm just checking to see whether I've mentioned everything. So what I wanted to do before we move on to our next topic, which is breathing, I just wanted to take you through a short meditation. So, just something that I kind of channeled through that I created for children. And I'm just going to show you the sorts of things that I would do with my child or group of children in a school, just so that you can see the length and the sort of language that I use. So I just want you to get yourself comfortable. So just take a moment to get yourself comfortable. I'm going to talk you through it exactly as though I was talking to a child. So you can either lie on your back or be on your side or be on your tummies, however you're comfortable, however you like to, lie down. Just imagine you're in bed. You can cuddle a cuddly toy if you want to. And then just get yourself comfortable. You might like to make sure your child's warm enough, because when we meditate, and we truly are meditating, the body's relaxing and the body temperature drops. So they can get quite cold. So it's a good idea if they're in bed or if they've just got a blanket around them, but just make sure they're comfortable, they're warm. If they want to lie on their tummies, if they want to cuddle something, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to start by closing our eyes. Now, if your child does not close their eyes, then just encourage them to do that. But if they don't, that's absolutely fine. That's a habit that they need to get into. Some children do not feel safe closing their eyes when they're awake. And that's when I would get them to cuddle a cuddly toy or something like that, or just have a blanket they can snuggle up to. Okay, so we're going to start by closing our eyes, and we're going to take a deep breath in through our nose. So breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose. Do that one more time. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose. Okay. Imagine now that you're on a beach and it's a warm sunny day and you're lying down on the beach. Your body, you can feel the soft, warm sand. You can hear is the sound of the waves as they go up the shore and back down again. Up the shore and back down again. And just feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. Up into the sky, out in the sky. And happy. Two waves once more as they go up and again. Listen in the voice. Okay. And I want you to feel the water as it comes up the shore and back down again. And you can feel it coming up to your ankles and back down again. Up your legs and back down again. And then it's going to go up to your tummy and back down again, up to your neck and back down again. And this time it's going to come completely over your body and wash back down again into the sea. And you're feeling safe and warm and comfortable. Okay, we're just going to wiggle our toes, wiggle our fingers, open our eyes. Okay, sorry about that because we lost connectivity halfway through, so it just kind of put me off a little bit. But hopefully you got a sense of the meditation and the kind of the gentleness of my voice. And the sort of things that I talk about. So you bring in the sense of, what can you hear, what can you feel, what can you sense and see and hear. So that's the sort of thing that I would do with them. And as you can tell, it was only sort of a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. I wouldn't go any longer than that. Okay, so again, if you've got any questions or anything at all, just any concerns, anything you want to ask me, don't hesitate. Just put those questions in the chat box where it says any questions to Zoe in the chat, and I can answer you as we go along. Can you just, if you are listening, could you just give me a sign and just say hi or something like that? Because we did lose connectivity, and I just want to make sure you're all still with me. So if you can, just type in just a little hi or something like that, thumbs up or something, so that I can just know that you're still with me. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So so really the main tips are, make sure that your child is comfortable, that they're lying down, they're warm, ideally in bed just before they go to sleep. You can try your candle gazing and your mind jar with the glitter. Oh, hiya. Oh, yeah, hiya. Brilliant. Okay, hi again. Was the water washing the worry away? No, I didn't do that one this time, Caroline. I just did the basic, just the water coming up the body and then going back down again, because we did do that last time, didn't we? But I haven't done that this time. As I said, it's how I feel in the moment, whether if your child is particularly worrying about something, what you could do is get your child to think about that worry wherever it is in their body, and then just visualize the water coming up their body and washing that worry away, and that's really effective for them. Okay, but I didn't do that one this time in the meditation. Okay, thanks for that, Caroline. Thank you. So the main points are that you do something to get them focused in. So maybe the candle gazing, maybe the glitter jar, something like that will help them, and then you can go into the meditations. I will be showing you a couple of resources that I use at the end that you could use with your children if you're so drawn. Okay, so that's meditation. Oh, looks like we've lost, or we are losing connectivity. I'm just connecting you back in. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go on to breathing now. So again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate, just pop them in the box and I can respond to you. And again, that helps me to know that I am, that you are connected with connectivity. So I'm going to go into breathing now. So I always say, don't underestimate the power of the breath. If you think about things like yoga, Tai Chi, they all use breathing. Breathing is an incredibly powerful tool, and one that I often use with children because it's so simple. And if you do have a child that is panicking, like my eldest son, bless him, he does get in a bit of a frost from time to time. So, I just kind of go up to him and hold him and I say, okay, breathe with me. And I breathe in deeply through my nose and then out through my nose, and make that breath long. And I do that several times. And by the time I finish, he's calmed down. And I always say to him, do that. If you're in a panic and you're by yourself, just do that deep breathing because it will really, really help. But I'm going to show you just a couple of things now that you can do. So the first one is, and this is one thing that I've seen before, and we were talking about last week, I know, is the hand breathing. So it's really, really simple. You have everything you need on you. So I always use my nose. I breathe in and out from my nose. And I say to the children, close your mouth and just use the nose to breathe in and out. So you just hold up your hand. You start, hang on, let me just make sure that you can see what I'm doing. If I just start that. So you start here at the base of your thumb. And as you go up your fingers, you breathe in. As you go down, you breathe out. Okay, so I'm going to show you, but always in and out through your nose. Okay, so breathing in, you can hold, breathe out, breathe in, 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 hold, and breathe out. So that is as slowly as I would go. So you always say breathe in and out through the nose. By the time you've got to your little finger, they will be in a completely different space. And if you just notice how you feel at the end of that, just everything feels still, the air feels still. And that is the point of it. You focus, you're in the moment. You've created that gap between your thoughts and your feelings and what I call your true self, your higher self. And that's what meditation does for us, or any of these activities will do for us. We're creating that gap so that we're not so caught up in this kind of negative downward spiral that we get into. Because I feel that what happens is we have a thought, we have a negative thought, a feeling attaches to it, and before we know it, we're in this horrible whirlwind of thoughts and feelings, and it's so hard to get out of. And it feels so real for us that any of these techniques, especially the breath, which you can just do in the moment when you remember, or get your child to do in the moment, will create that gap. We'll just stop that. We'll just create that little space between our thoughts and our feelings and who we truly are behind all of that. So that one in particular is a great one. Now, the other one that I use a lot is what I call my 4-part breathing. There are only about 3 or 4 that I use, but I'm just going to show you my favourite ones. So again, you kind of get comfortable, and if you can, get your child to close their eyes, or you close your eyes. You're going to breathe in and out through your nose to the count of 4, and I'm going to talk you through it. Really, really simple, so that you can do that with your child. Okay, so just getting yourself comfortable, closing your eyes. You're going to breathe in for the count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 2, 3, 4. Out for 4. 2, 3, 4. And again, breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 2, 3, 4. And breathing out for 4. 2, 3, 4. And then let's just do that one more time. So breathing in for 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 2, 3, 4. Out for 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so just allowing our breath to return to normal, and that's really important that you tell your child that. Just be really, really careful of children, and I do see them going like that, and that will make them dizzy. If they carry on like that, that will definitely make them dizzy. You don't want them dropping on the floor, fainting. So just be careful. Just say gentle breath in. If you can model that for them, then they'll know how to do that instinctively. Another thing that you can do is just using the hands, in a kind of a wave. I love this one. You just breathe in. Move your hands apart, breathe out, move them together. Breathing in, moving them out, breathe out, moving them together. Let's do that one more time. To breathe in and breathe out, moving them back together. And again, if they can just try and use, breathing in and out through the nose, always in and out through the nose. This really helps to focus and to calm down, focus the mind and calm them down. So there you have 3 of, three of my favourite breathing activities. These can also be done before meditation. These will, as I said, these will focus the mind, so they can be used in that way as well. So you could have like a little routine going, bedtime routine, where you do a breathing activity. You can do your candle gazing or your mind jar, and then you can do a little meditation. That makes a nice little sort of 10-minute activity. But it's something you can do with your child and just get into those good practices. Now, before I go on to visualization, and again, if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat box, and I can respond to you or answer those for you. I did forget to go through the meditation for adults, just some good tips. I'm just going to go back to that. I mean, all of these things like the breathing, it's all kind of interlinked anyway, so I don't feel I've kind of gone off subject too much. But as I said, personally, I meditate. If I'm going to meditate, I meditate in the evening, in bed, just before I go to sleep, or first thing in the morning. It's often for me more first thing in the morning that I like to do it. I do kind of a more visualization, meditation. As I said, work if it is something that you're drawn to, work up to once a day. I think that if you're doing it once a month or whatever, it's kind of pointless. It seems a bit harsh, but you're really not going to reap those benefits. So the more regularly you can do it, the better it is for you. I would make it into a habit. So if you say to yourself, just maybe finish your TV or whatever you're doing in the evening just a little bit earlier, and just carve out 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes a day. It's not a lot. Just get up that little bit earlier and just stay in bed and do that meditation. Because I always think that, this is what I prioritize that. For me now, I know that it's a way of life. If my head is not in that right space, the rest of the day reflects that. So when I first started, I worked up to once a day, morning or evening, sometimes both, and I prioritize that. Because, if you think about it, we exercise, we prioritize our exercise, we prioritize our diet, the way we eat, but we also need to prioritize our mind. Our mind is hugely powerful, as we've seen with the power of our thoughts, and our feelings as well. And meditations, the tools and techniques like that will create that gap between all of those negative thoughts and those feelings that take us out of ourselves and bring us back to the true essence of ourselves and create that gap, so that we're in that better space. And you will see that if you do that every day, I promise you that your day is going to run so much smoother. And it's like you're anchoring in your intent. You're sort of saying to yourself, this is how I want my day to go. This is what meditation will help you do. And it's like setting the scene for your day. Now I've kind of gone one step further than that. I do kind of little procedures in the moment now, so it's almost like in the moment, especially when I'm struggling with it, I have a little kind of procedure that I follow, and it really helps me to, in the moment, whatever time of day, to again create that gap between my thoughts and my feelings. So it's about harnessing for me those negative thoughts and feelings. Now this is something that I wanted to touch on today with the affirmations. So we'll come back to that. So just hold that thought. It's going to go a little bit deep again, but for me that is something that I work on personally a lot, and it has been life changing for me. It's a habit that I've got into, and it's really shifted the way I approach life, my perception on life, my relationships. It's changed all of that for me in a huge way. So I will touch on that, but that is something that you can't kind of teach in 10 minutes. But as I said, if we've got time, we will come to that. So I've shown you meditation and how to get your children into meditation. I've talked to you about the benefits of meditation. I've talked to you about good tips for meditation for you and your child. I've talked about ways into meditation. And we've talked about, I've gone through a couple of breathing activities and sort of said to you how powerful the breath is and how that can truly help us. So I'm now going to come on to visualization. Visualization, excuse me. So this is something that I use a lot. You have, it kind of overlaps with meditation. You can use visualization in meditation. I'm a very, very visual person. I'm a visual learner, very slowly, incredibly slowly. So I've always kind of relied on visuals, but because I'm very visual as well, I like to bring that into my meditative practice. I feel that women as well are more visual learners, or girls as well are very visual learners, more so than boys and men. So for me, I love visualization. So I'm going to show you a few of my favorite visualization techniques that you can use on yourself so that you can then go on to teach your child. The children really resonate. They resonate with a lot of these techniques, but there is a couple of these that they absolutely love, these visualizations. So the first one that I'm going to use is called the optical calcite or quartz point procedure. Okay, so this is a crystal. You can use, for those of you that know the crystals, you can use either a piece of optical calcite or you can use a quartz point. Any of these crystals will channel energy, will kind of shift energy around the body, the energy that's spoken about. And I'm sure there are plenty of other types of crystals that will do that, but I say have a quartz point. Quartz is a very, very common crystal. It's called a quartz point because of its shape. You can get different sizes, different shapes. You can get round ones that have been shaped, but the more kind of natural quartz comes like this. It's a point. It was part of a cluster, and it's been broken off, and it's now a point. So in any crystal shops or anywhere that sells probably crystal jewelry, you'll be able to find these. You can get them on the internet as well. Crystals are one of those things where you need to go along and you need to feel drawn to the crystal. It's almost like the crystal chooses you rather than you choose the crystal. I know it sounds a bit wacky doodle, but again, it's an energy thing. So the procedure I'm going to show you, boys absolutely love this procedure. It's kind of a very shamanic one, and basically what I do is I say, okay, hold the crystal in your left hand, and you're going to point. So you're not going to be able to. I'm just going to move back a little bit. You're not going to be able to see the whole of me. I don't want to go too far so you can't hear me. But you're going to get your child to hold the crystal facing, kind of pointing downwards, with the point facing towards the earth, with a strong arm. So it's in the left hand. You get them to stand up, and you say to them, this is a really powerful crystal. And this crystal is going to be able to shift all those bad feelings that you have inside of you out from you and into the ground. This is what the crystal does. But you're going to have to help the crystal. Okay, so I'm just going to remind you, you hold the crystal in your left hand with the point facing downwards. You're standing up. You can sit down as well, but often children like to stand up in a strong kind of pose. And you say to them, okay, where do you feel your worry or your anger? Where is it that you're feeling it in your body? Yes, is it in your tummy? Wherever it is that you're feeling it, I want you to feel it now again and just connecting with that feeling. And we're going to help this crystal shift that emotion out of your body and away from you, because you don't want that in your tummy or wherever it is you're feeling it. Okay, it's not making you feel good, so we need to get it out. Okay, so you ask them to connect in with the feeling by feeling it wherever they feel it. And you're going to ask them to imagine that feeling moving up, so they can actually do that with their hands up, and we can see, hopefully you can, moving up slowly up the body, down into the shoulder, down into the left arm, down into the left hand, into the crystal, and out into the ground, away from them. So we'll just do that one more time. So ask them to feel wherever it is they're feeling that anger, or they're upset, or their worry. They're going to move that worry or that feeling up their body, into their shoulder, into their arm, and just say, can you feel that tingling now? When they touch the crystal, they should be able to feel the tingling. Out into the hands, down the arm, into the hands, into the crystal, and down into the earth, away from them, because this is what the crystal does. It is, talk to them about the magic of the crystal, the power of the crystal. Children really resonate with crystals. They absolutely love them. They really connect in with them. And say to them, can you feel your hand tingling when you pick up the crystal? And this will help them connect into them more. So that's what I use. This is one, as I said, boys absolutely love this procedure. So as I said, I know you can use quartz points or something like optical calcite. It's a really good one. Hold it in your left hand and you visualize that move, the emotions going up your body and down into your left hand, okay, and out into the earth, because that's what it does. It channels the energy. Okay, so that's one very, very powerful procedure that I would show my child now, and I have done it. My eldest son had a little bit of optical calcite, and he kept that in his pocket, and and then it got to a point where if he was feeling a bit stressed, he just put his hand in the pocket at school and just feel the crystal, and it really, really helped him. They really connect in with them, and they really put their faith in them, so it's a really, really good one to use. The other thing that you can do, another visualization, is the cloak visualization, magic cloak. I love this one. Now, for younger children, I would suggest that you actually get them a cloak or make them a cloak, preferably out of soft material, warm, soft material, or shiny material, something with stars, something a bit special. But when they're feeling, and this is brilliant for when they're feeling a bit vulnerable, a bit scared, a bit, they're seeking protection from you, they can put their magic, talk to them about it being a magic cloak. Just need to reconnect again. Magic cloak. That when they're feeling a little bit scared, they can just put over them. Maybe when they're in bed at night and they're feeling a bit lonely or scared, again, Satan, you can put the magic cloak on. That's going to protect you because it's magical. It has a lot of power in it. But they can also visualize the cloak. This is where it gets powerful. Especially for older children. For younger ones, as I said, I would definitely use a physical cloak with them. But for older children, they can visualize the cloak, so they can see this shimmering, shining cloak just made of light and stars, or however they see that. They can feel themselves putting the cloak on, and they can feel that cloak. Just ask them to imagine that they're wearing the clip, that they can feel it heavy and warm around them, and it's making them feel safe. You know, children are very open to this sort of thing, and they don't question. They don't question like adults. So this is why it's so powerful for them. So I will definitely use that with your child. Now, as I said right at the beginning of this masterclass, all of these techniques that I'm teaching you now, I feel it's a really, really good thing if you can use them on yourself. Use them on yourself first, practice them so that you can, it's like walking your talk. You know, if you're using them and you can see how it helps you and how they work, then you know, you can feel the confidence or feel confident enough to teach your child and know how they can work and how powerful they can be. Okay, so do we have any questions on any of the things that I've shown you so far? So let's just, while we're, maybe if some of you typing, while you're doing that, if you do have some questions for me, we'll just go back over the things that we've been talking about. So we've spoken about energy, and we've given you a bit of the basics around energy and why, and hopefully now you can see a connection as to why, you know, these techniques work in the way that they do and why they're so powerful. We also we went into meditation. We talked about the benefits of meditation, good practice, good tips so you can make those lifelong changes, and also ways in to getting your child to meditate. You know, we talked about the mind jar. What else did we talk about? My mind's gone blank. The candle gazing. You know, and we talked about the benefits, all those benefits, all that goodness that meditation can give us. And I gave you a few good tips as adults if you are going to get into meditation, you know, to do it regularly, when to do it, make it part of your habit. You know, even you know, if you do it alongside something else, like in the shower, for example, or when you're walking the dog, you know, just carve out little 5 minutes for yourself, however you do that, to meditate. You know, set your intent. That's hugely powerful. You know, as I said, I do meditate first thing in the morning and last thing at night. So that's a good thing to do. So that's meditation. We then went on to breathing, and I taught you about, you know, the power of the breath, how powerful, how hugely powerful it can be for us. You know, don't underestimate that. This is why things like yoga work in the way that they do. They're so relaxing because we're focusing on the breath. And I kind of gave you a few techniques to use with your child. And then we went on to visualization, and I showed you a couple of my most powerful visualization techniques. You know, which hopefully you'll be able to use. So we have the quartz point, and we have the magic clothes, which I love. So I'm just really, really hoping that you know, you're taking on board what I'm saying, and I'm really hoping that you can at least take some of these techniques and go home, and well, not go home, I'll see you at home probably, but try them on your child. But I would really recommend that you try them on yourself first, so that you have that confidence, because this is quite new stuff for a lot of you. I appreciate that. But I think a good tip is to try it on yourself first, and then, you know, try it on your child. Okay. Now, I don't think, looking at the time, we're at 9 o'clock already. I'm going to skip the affirmations for now. I'm hoping that we'll have a little bit of time at the end to go back to them, because this for me is massive. I feel that it's a really, really good tool and a really powerful tool to use. It's something that I use and work with a lot. And as I said earlier, I feel it's really, it's been a massive thing for me. It's really changed the way I approach life. You know, it changed my perception of life, and changed my relationships, and you know, so but again, it's not something that I can do in 10 minutes. So if we can find a little bit of time at the end, we will go through those a little bit. But for the moment, I'm going to go to my sacred space, as I mentioned at the beginning. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about that, because if you're going to be getting your child to meditate and having that quiet still time, which I said at the beginning is hugely important for your child, that they have that time, that quiet time, where they can go inwards a little bit and just, it's that reflective time. Call it what you will, but I feel that you need to honour that for them and create a special quiet space for them where they can do their meditation, where they can do their reflection, where they can do their calming down. So in our house, I have 4 spaces like that. I have one in my living room. I have one on my bedside table in my bedroom, so very small little space for myself. And the boys have their own in each of their rooms. And it's something that I suggest you set up and help your child set up in their room or somewhere where they like to be at home. If you're a teacher, you can also have one in school. I mean, we all have quiet spaces, don't we, in the class, and I'm sure you do, or in your library or wherever, but at school. But I do think it's important that you have one at home for your child. So what I would put in sacred space, I would put things like plants. You can have fairy lights. I love fairy lights, very twinkly. You can have fake candles, because obviously if you've got young children, you do candles like this. Okay, so plants, fake candles, fairy lights, photos as well, photos that mean something to your child, crystals as well, really, really good ones. I've just got some here. I have these in my starter packs for the workshops that I do, the Nurture for Kids workshop, but I've got some of the crystals that I use in the starter packs that the parents can put in the child's sort of little sacred space, for things like fluorite, which is a gorgeous green colour, really good for dreams, really good for helping your child get to sleep, good for nightmares, things like that. So that's fluorite. That's a really good one to have in the bedroom, particularly. Smoky quartz. This is a really good crystal for helping with negativity, any of those sorts of things. That's smoky quartz. Hopefully you can see that. I love this one. This is my stripy amethyst. So it's just a gorgeous crystal. It's a very vibrant purple colour, but I've come across this as a bit more usual stripy amethyst. And this again is good for negativity as well. So I would get definitely crystals, high frequency, very high energy, photos, anything like, if your kids are anything like mine, they'll have conkers, they'll have fir cones, they'll have sticks, anything like that that's special to them, that means something. A sacred space as well. Plants are brilliant as well because they have it. It's almost like you're bringing in nature, what I like to call high frequency, high energy. And I think if you have a space like that in your child's bedroom, visually it looks stunning. It can look really stunning, especially with the fairy lights and the candles. But it also brings in a higher frequency, so it feels nice. And and then what you can do is there's a little ritual before you start your meditation. You can light the candles, put the fairy lights on. You can have your dolphin music going. You can start your meditation, or you can say to your child, if they're getting a bit upset, well, let's go to your quiet space. Let's just go and spend a bit of time there. Make it appealing, make it feel nice, and you can so do that with crystals and plants and special things. So as I said, I have one on my bedside table. I have a few crystals, clear quartz crystals, things like that, and I have real candles that I light, and I just light them before I put my headphones on, and I just settle down for meditation. And it's funny, it's just like a little ritual, and it's like it really honors that practice. So yeah, I'd really recommend that you do something like that for them, and like I said, it's honouring, it sets the tone, it sets your intent. So I think that's personally, I think that's really important to do that for them if you can, and you'll find that they love doing it. They'll create a little space for themselves. So again, if you have any questions, just fire them away in the chat box there. So now we come to the the nice, well, hopefully all of this has been nice, but all the different resources that I've tried and tested. So I wanted to just go through some of my favourite ones, because when my eldest son was really, really struggling, I just remember at the time feeling so powerless and so stressed out because I felt I just didn't know what to do. And I feel that by using these tools and these techniques, it's really helped me feel that I can support him in some way. You know, obviously I've gone on and I use energy. I run energy on him. I've taught him to run energy on himself, but it's not something I'm going to go into tonight. We don't have time. But it's just so empowering as a mother, and it feels lovely to be able to use these different resources on them. And the things that I'm going to show you, they love them. They love to engage with them. Children love crystals. All of these things. It will be a real joy for them to use. So hopefully you won't have any problems, getting them to use that. Another good tip is, and I found that with my two children at home, I would not, if they're in that space where they're upset or they're angry, I would probably suggest some of these techniques. But if they refuse them in the moment, I would not persevere with them in the moment. This is something that has to be a positive experience for them. So when they're in that good space, when they've calmed down, you could say, oh, let's try this or let's try that. So that they have a positive connection with them. Because what you want them to be doing is using them for themselves in the moment. This is why we're trying to empower these children. And I find you'll probably find that the older they get, the more inclined they will be to use them for themselves. But don't make that negative connection. If they're refusing them in the moment, I would not persevere with it. I would back off. When they've calmed down, I would remind them of them. Okay, so I think that's a really good tip. And the other one, obviously, is for you to practice that on yourself so that you have the confidence to show them. Okay. I'll start, with my worry dolls. You've probably seen them. These are called Guatemalan worry dolls. The idea is that traditionally the Guatemalans you have like a little bag full of these little dolls, and the Guatemalan children would tell a worry to each of these dolls, put them back into their bag. Just that's really important that you put them back into the bag, close the bag, and put the bag under their pillow. And they do this just before they go to sleep. And the idea is that the dolls take care of the worries overnight, and then in the morning they're resolved, or they'll find resolution to the problems or the worries. But it's basically a brilliant tool to use with children that are worrying at night to the point where they can't get to sleep, because they'll feel that they can do something to take care of their worries. So these you can get on Amazon. They come in tiny little bags, or you can get a big one like this. If you do get the tiny little bags, I would suggest that just make sure that as they take each one out, make sure they put them back in, because we've lost loads of them in the bed and we just cannot find them. So worry dolls, really, really good tool for children that are finding it difficult to get sleep. Another thing that I would use is a gratitude jar. So being grateful is a huge aspect of mindfulness. I'm not actually spoken about mindfulness. I think a lot of these techniques where you're focusing in on the moment is, for me, an aspect of mindfulness. And gratitude for me is a really good value to embrace, and a big aspect of mindfulness for me. And it's also a way of shifting the focus from a more negative one to a more positive one. And there's various ways that you can do this, because I feel that if you have a worrier, if we're someone that worries, you get into this kind of negative spiral, and your focus becomes quite negative rather than positive, because worries can get really big. So a good way to shift the focus is to use what I call a mind jar. Sorry, not a mind jar, a gratitude jar. So what you do is you say at the end of the day, when you pick your child up from school or whenever you see them, just ask them what was good about today. And it's just those little things. It can be just something as simple as someone smiled at me today, or someone held the door open for me today, or I really enjoyed my lunch at school today, or just anything, because we could be offended 100 times a day if you think about it. We could choose to be offended 100 times a day, but good things, even if it's the tiny things, like a little robin came down in the garden and it was just lovely to watch, or it snowed today and it was really really exciting, or someone made me a cup of tea, or I really, just anything, just little things. It is up to you what you choose to focus on, as it is your child. So by making a gratitude jar, and so you say to them, well, what was nice that happened? What was unexpected? What was exciting? What was whatever? However you choose to voice that, get them to write it down. Just have a little pack of post-its. They can write it down. Just write that one thing down. Pop it in the gratitude jar. And before long, they can see that all those positive things growing, and it just helps them to shift that focus a little bit away from the negative stuff to the more negative, positive stuff, because it's about training the mind. It's about shifting that focus. If you like the idea of gratitude and building up that, then another brilliant resource that I would suggest is the Gratitude Journal for Kids. Now, I found this on Amazon, and as I said, I've tried and tested heaps of stuff. I've got loads of books at home. I'm just going to be showing you a few of my favourites, but I love this. It's a really simple idea, but it has, if I just show you one page, it has a colouring in to do. Now let's find the page. So you have a colouring in to do, which again is very mindful. It's very focusing in the moment. And then you can colour in the word thank you. And here it says day, so you can put in day and the date, and something like today I'm thankful for, and then they can write down what they're thankful for. And it is just a brilliant and simple tool to get them focusing on the positive stuff, okay? And then down here, this person brought me joy. So you can just write down their name, and then just a little thing that says, how do I feel? I feel happy, whatever. Just help them to identify their feelings. I think this is brilliant. Just gratitude journal for kids. Highly recommend this. This can be sourced off Amazon. Another book, and I'm just aware of the time, so it's 9:15 now, but another book, and this is one that we talked about last week, I remember, and I talked about in my Nurture for Kids workshop a lot. I love this book. I think it just very, very simply explains the power of our thoughts and our feelings and the energy behind it, and the impact that our power and that our thoughts and our feelings, our actions, our words, our intent has on ourselves and those around us. And it's just called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? It doesn't talk about energy. You don't need to talk about energy in the way that I did at the beginning of the masterclass, but it just illustrates, and makes children aware of the fact that their thoughts and their feelings can so impact on everybody else around them. And it just makes them own it. It makes them take responsibility for how they're feeling. Because I think this is a big part of the problem, is that they're not taking ownership. They're so busy projecting out, that they're not owning how they're feeling. It's not making them aware of how they are, how they're feeling, and how those feelings and those thoughts can impact on others. And I think a lot of us as adults are like that as well. We do have a tendency to project out and blame others. We all do it. We all forget to look inwards and be aware of how we're feeling and thinking at a given time. So this book I would highly recommend, highly, highly recommend. I think it's a brilliant way in to all of this, the way of thinking about things. Another one that I would recommend, if you are, if if you've had, if your child is struggling with a separation or a divorce, which does happen. There's this book called Mum and Dad Glue, and I think it's it's a really poignant book, and I just think but it has a positive end. But kind of brought a tear to my eyes when I read it. But I think this can really, really help children who are struggling with any sort of separation or divorce that's going on in the family. So I'd highly recommend that. That's Mum and Dad Glue by Kes Gray. Again, you can get it on Amazon. And the last book that I'm going to show you is Sitting Still Like a Frog. So hopefully you can see this. And this is a lovely one. If you want to get more into mindfulness, it's Sitting Still Like a Frog, Mindfulness Exercises for Kids and Their Parents. By Aline, I think that's how you say it, Snell, Aline Snell. Again, you can get this off Amazon. It has lots of different techniques. It has a bit of kind of mindfulness training. It has a CD as well with activities to do together. So it's a lovely thing to do together. So I would definitely recommend that one. I also have a book that I've written myself. It's an ebook. I don't have a physical copy to show you, unfortunately. It's called The Toolbox for Anxious Kids, a step-by-step guide to conscious living and parenting. So if any of this has resonated with you and you'd like to learn more about it, then you can just send me a quick email or connect with me on the Whisper Tree on my Facebook page, and I can get you a copy sent over. So it just goes into deeper understanding around all of these tools and techniques that I've been showing you. If you'd like to learn more, that's a really, really good one to get. So we only have 10 minutes left, so we're really running out of time. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about my membership program. So the idea behind the Whisper Tree and the Nurture for Kids workshops is that we want to create sustainable, long-lasting change. We don't want a quick fix, as I'm sure a lot of you will appreciate. And the idea behind this is to get the parents on board so that they can start to think in a more mindful and more, what I like to call, conscious way, and have a more of a more conscious living approach, and then this will spread into the whole family. So if you're modeling that behavior, modeling that approach to life, those perceptions, those techniques, you'll find that you're going to create more of that sustainable change. Now, as I know, because I experienced it myself, it's really, really hard to, if you just feel that you're by yourself and alone in this. I feel that we need support. We definitely need support. We need connection with other like-minded people that are going through the same thing. And just those little reminders and that ongoing support to help you in this. Because, as I said, it's not a quick fix. We're looking for ongoing sustainable change, right? Because I don't believe that just by using any of these techniques and just by just by doing, maybe using a few, that you will create that change over a long time. These techniques will definitely support your child without a doubt, but I feel it has to go deeper, and this is what I've experienced for myself. So, I'm not saying that these techniques will not work. They definitely will work. But I feel that if you have the deeper understanding behind it, then you will definitely start to create longer, sustainable change, and a shift and change in the way that you approach life, and that your family members will approach life, and your children will as well. So what I'm offering today is my membership program. So it's called my Nurture for Kids membership program. And if you look at this blue box on the right hand side of the screen, hopefully you can see that it says today's bonus. Now the Nurture for Kids membership program is valued at £180. for the 12 months. But I'm not selling it for 180. I'm selling it for half price today. Well, up until tomorrow night, same time tomorrow night. So basically, for £90, that's all it's going to cost you for the 12 months. So it works out at £7.50 a month. You are going to get the following. You will get a free copy of my book, my ebook, The Toolbox for Anxious Kids. So, this is a step-by-step guide. Within the book, you've got a whole chapter with all of the tools and techniques. Now, these are just some of them that I'm showing you tonight. All of the tools and techniques, that's just one chapter that will show you how you use them, how they work, what they can benefit your child with. You've got all the chapters that will definitely, absolutely deepen your knowledge about all the things that I've shown you and more, and talking about energy and things like that. So I would highly recommend that book if you're interested in anything I've been saying. With the membership program, you will get the main thing is my online video training. So every month you get a few modules that will work on, it's like a step-by-step detailed program. So every month you'll get step-by-step modules that will give you the instruction and will move you through the training. So these are all the things that I've been working on over the years. So you'll get all of that, and every month you'll get new modules that you can work on. You'll get, within that, you'll get downloadables. You'll get techniques that you can use with your child. You'll get all the explanations, so that you can really understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, how it works. And the toolbox, my ebook, will deepen the knowledge, and it completely complements the online training. So you get the book, you get the online training. You also get additional modules, which are video training specifically for adults, because I feel that it's not just about the child, it's about you, it's about the whole family, it's about just kind of changing the way you think about things and understanding things in a deeper way. So some of these video trainings will take you through how to harness your more negative thoughts and feelings, so that and how to shift them into a more positive way. You've got video training on the moon cycles. I'm really fascinated and obsessed with the moon, but the moon has a huge influence on our mood, on our behaviours, and I've done a whole kind of video training on that. Just because I've done so many. There's meditation as well. There's a module on that. I mean, there's loads of stuff there for adults. So you'll get access to all of that knowledge, all of that goodness. You'll be able to become a member of my private Facebook community. So in there, you'll be able to connect to other parents that are in similar situations to yourself, which is always a good thing, and you'll be able to feel supported like that. Every week I do card readings. So if you're into all of that, that's a brilliant one for you. I post inspirational posts. There's nothing negative. Anything that I see that could support you or your child, I'll be posting in there. Any live webinars, any training, I'll be posting there as well. So that's a really good thing to get into. And every week, and I think this is one of the keys as well to the ongoing success and ongoing support, is my live weekly Q&A session. So, for example, if you're struggling with a situation, or you have any questions concerning anything on the membership program, then you can find me off an email. I'll get that email, and then in the next session, the live session, I'll be able to answer any questions that you may have, or talk you through something that that's going on for you. So I feel that will really provide that ongoing support for you. So as I said, just quickly, because I'm aware of time, we're running out of time. This is valued at £180. You can get it today for not just £90, which works out as £7.50 a month if you pay for it all up front. All you need to do, so if you are interested, then you just click here where it says click here on the yellow button, just click there. It will send you to a page where you just fill in your details and you'll get access immediately to the online training. From there, you can connect on Facebook, and and from there from there you'll guide you into how to get onto the Q&A sessions and things like that. So as I said, you've got it up until this time tomorrow. As you can see, there's a countdown now. I think it was 22 hours left. So, it was 24 hours. And I think that's all I've got to tell you. So, if you don't decide to go for the membership program, that's absolutely fine. This is just what I'm giving away today or at the moment. But if not, I really, really hope that this session has been useful for you. Because it is via YouTube, there should be a replay, I'm hoping. I will post that. If I do manage to get hold of that, I will try and post that to my Facebook page. As I said, I'm quite new to this. I'm not very technical savvy. So just bear with me. But if I can, I will post it to my Facebook page. And you can find me on the Whisper Tree. So anyway, lovely to connect with you guys. Don't forget about the really super special offer we have at the moment, just at £90. And yeah, really lovely to connect with you. I really hope that I can see that I did have quite a few that connected, and I really, really hope this has been some use to you. So don't forget my golden tips. Try these techniques on yourself before you try them on your child. This will give you that confidence to try them. And just remember what I said about that ongoing sustainable change. If they have the parents on board and your child sees you doing these things and using these techniques and meditating, then you've got a really good chance that they will take it on board, try it for themselves, and hopefully go for that, and create that lifelong change, which is what we want. Okay, blessings and love to you all. And I hope this has been useful to you. And thank you so much for connecting in. Okay then, bye guys. Bye.